What's going on, guys? It's Jordan back today with another video, and in today's video we're going to take a look at Ethereum and see what it's doing on the 4-hour, the daily, and the weekly time frame. We're also going to take a look at the ETH Bitcoin ratio to see if we can find any clues on what is happening on the charts for Ethereum. So if that sounds good to you guys and you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys smack that subscribe button down below. I appreciate every single one of you guys that does that every single day. Now let's jump on in here, starting with the daily chart. Now I'm seeing a lot of optimism right now, and it's definitely to be deserved, right? The last 2 days we've pumped a solid 16% to the upside. But are we out of the woods yet? No, we're not. We're still just in this upwards channel, guys. Until we break out of this upwards channel, it could just mean us pumping to the top of this resistance and then falling right back down, right? It doesn't necessarily mean we have to go straight up from here. We still do have this really big resistance on the top here for Ethereum. Now we have been, right, making a little bit of bearish divergence on the daily chart for a while now. You guys can see we keep getting lower highs on the RSI, but higher highs in price action. Technically and normally that is a bearish indicator, which should push us further down to the downside. But you guys can see if we scroll over here to the left here, our last consolidation period for Ethereum was the exact same thing, right? It was this upwards channel with lower highs on the RSI, but higher highs in price action, and we actually pumped up to the upside on this one. So it doesn't necessarily mean that we have to go down to the downside because of this bearish divergence. Another example is right here where we had this upwards channel and then continued up to the upside as well. This one we really didn't have a bearish divergence. But you guys get the point. These upwards channels, which are technically supposed to be bear flags, end up pumping to the upside most of the time for Ethereum. So I think eventually this one will break up to the upside as well. But we have to pay attention to this top resistance line here and for us not to get rejected. Now we're going to look at my my measured move. So the measured move of this is the flagpole here from the top to the bottom. In my opinion, and we put that at our breakout point. Say if we break out somewhere around this area, that would put our measured move breakout to above $2,000 there, about 2,100 once we break out of this. But we, like I said, guys, we could just come right back down, and we could break to the downside as well. So we're gonna look at that downwards target. The downwards target is somewhere down 581. I don't think we're gonna go that low. That is absolutely insane. I think if we do end up dropping to the downside, guys, my target would probably be for support somewhere around, if we do break to the downside, let me bring up the EMA here, and then we're going to take a look at the 200 EMA. Sorry, guys. Our 200-day EMA is at about that 620 level, which has a lot of confluence of this previous price action here. So if we did get a major dip down below, I think that would be good resistance, but I really don't think we go below about that 900 level, guys. That is just my opinion. And take that for what a grain of salt or what you think, but that is my opinion. We don't go below that 930 level if we break out to the downside. Switch on over to the hourly chart for Ethereum, guys. This is just a smaller outlook and a smaller time frame view on what could happen next. Looks like we're forming some sort of symmetrical triangle here. Doesn't necessarily have to be a symmetrical triangle, but you guys can see our support is pretty obvious there on the hourly. On the top, we've only gotten 2 touches so far. I'm just connecting the 2 local highs so you guys can see that. We are getting a little bit of rejection right now at this point from our bottom support back here, back on the 25th. But if we do get bounced here and we continue up, look for us to break to the upside or the downside on this symmetrical triangle there. The apex of that has to break by Sunday at 12 on the hourly. So it will probably break out sooner than that, but I wanted to quickly look at our measured moves for this as well. From our upside to our downside target, I take it from our top to our low to be a little bit more realistic there. We'll put it right at the apex to be a little more conservative as well. Breakout point for that would be 1655 to the upside if we break that to the upside. Obviously, we're going to have our upward resistance probably around 1500 if we do continue up. So just make sure for that as well. We could hit 1500, maybe come back down, test the triangle again, and then continue move back up. The downside target for this would be about 1,154, which has, I guess, some confluence, not too much, but obviously we have some resistance here, and not really that much confluence on that, but that's the measured move. At least you guys can at least get a taste of the measured move to the downside as well, because we're not moon boys on this channel, right? We look at the bullish stuff and the bearish stuff on this channel. Both are great. So jumping on over to the weekly, guys, we're still heavily overbought in the weekly. We're still at a 91 on the RSI. It would be nice to cool that down a little bit, but it doesn't necessarily mean we have to. We're right at that resistance. We're getting crazy buy pressure, as you guys can see on these wicks, right? They just don't want it to go lower, these bigger institutional investors, right? You guys can see these crazy wicks on the downside, just showing massive demand. When this thing dips, it gets bought right back up. Doesn't necessarily mean it has to go up, right? It could dip down, but it is good to see those wicks there on the downside. Guys, we have been overbought. I want to quickly look at this. We have been overbought on Ethereum, for 11 weeks now, right? And if we look back in 2017, right, you guys can see that we can stay overbought for a really long time. So we stayed overbought in 2017 for about 19 weeks. We stayed overbought in 2017. So it doesn't necessarily mean we have to cool down. We could technically, if we match 2017, stay overbought for another 7 or 8 weeks, or about 2 months, right? But that's just an example of, just because we're overbought doesn't mean we have to necessarily come back down. You guys can see each bull market, we tend to stay overbought for a longer period of time. This one, we stayed overbought for 8 weeks. This one, we stayed overbought for 19 weeks. And so far, like I said, guys, we've been overbought for about 11 weeks. So maybe it just keeps doubling. We stay overbought for 30, 40 weeks. Who knows, guys? Who knows? We are really far up there. It would take a monumental dump for us to really, monumental, not even just dump, but a continued dump for multiple weeks to even get us close back down to below that 70 level. So that's it on the weekly chart for Ethereum. We're just butting our head on this resistance over and over again until we hopefully break it. We're making higher lows, which is great to see, right? That's what you want to see in a bull market, is consecutive higher lows. And we're going to be in a bull trend. The only way we would break the bull trend is if we dumped all the way past and made a lower low at 350, right? And in my opinion, that's just not going to happen. You could argue maybe about 589 if we drop below that. We would see a lower lows. Obviously, to break a bull trend, you want to see that lower lows. So until that happens, we are in a bull trend, guys. On the weekly chart for the Ethereum Bitcoin ratio, we just got a rejection on our resistance. You guys can see right here, we just worked straight up to it. We pretty much hit our measured move out of this head and shoulders. You guys can see from the bottom to our neckline. Our breakout point from the neckline was right about at the top of that green candle. So almost perfect there. We did get a nice overbought wick there, and then have come back down slightly. It is possible we can continue back up with a couple candles to the top of this, but doesn't necessarily need to happen. And maybe it's likely that Bitcoin starts catching up on Ethereum real quick. Bitcoin obviously has been hibernating. Didn't have a good pump today. To about 38,000 at one point, but as of making this video, it's about 34,057. So it did get pulled back a little bit, but maybe we could see Bitcoin catch up on Ethereum a little bit, bouncing back down to the bottom of this channel. It doesn't necessarily mean Ethereum has to go down, just means Bitcoin would outpace Ethereum in the short term, right, guys? I think a lot of people get the misconception that if a coin is losing value against Bitcoin, it is dumping. No. Ethereum could go up 5%. Bitcoin just means Bitcoin could go up 6%, right? It just means that Ethereum is not pumping as much as Bitcoin, and it's not dumping as little as Bitcoin. So that's the video on Ethereum today, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I did get my camera today, right? I did get our camera today for the live stream. You will guys see that first live stream at some point tomorrow. I will guys get the exact time for you guys before I go to bed tonight. I'm thinking today is just going to be a one video because I do have a lot to work on for that first live stream. But you guys might see a surprise video later tonight if I'm have some time. Maybe I'll throw up another video for you guys. But plan on one. If you see two, consider it a nice, end of January present for all you guys. But anyways, I'll keep updated for my live stream tomorrow on my Twitter. I will put it there. And I'll also make a YouTube post as well to remind you guys. So hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you're new, smack that subscribe button down below. I appreciate you guys. And I'll see you guys in later's video or tomorrow's live stream. Too much content, but you guys like that. So I'll see you guys at some point. Peace.